All right. Well, let's do this. We had a couple other people join us. Well, that's why we give people 3 or 4 minutes to join on. So I'm really happy that you're able to be here. I'm traveling right now. So I was trying to get sub. My laptop died this morning. I had to struggle to try to find a backup. So I have a backup now. Hopefully, this will all work out fine. If there are technical difficulties, um, I will let you know. But we should be good to go here. Really excited. We did this epic daily ritual last week. It was the first time we've done it and absolutely love it. So I'm really glad that you're able to join us for this. And, uh, we do the Aligned Habits workshop, and we also do the Focused and Free, Break the Distraction Cycle workshop. And we have a new workshop we're about to do also, we'll do in a couple weeks. So it's a faith workshop, but absolutely love the Epic Daily Ritual one. It's been a big part of my life, so I'm excited to share that with you, and hoping that this helps bring you some success and some peace and some clarity in 2026. So, if you haven't yet, maybe you can just put in the chat how you're feeling today, where you're from, just say hi. I'm feeling kind of exhausted. We're working on packing up our old house because we're moving soon, and I've been doing that around the clock. And because my family's already up in Vermont, so I'm down here doing that. Um, and yeah, I'm excited to be here with you. And I'm right now in Marlton, New Jersey, but I'll be heading back to Stowe, Vermont later today or early tomorrow. Um, so as we get going here, yeah, CJ, yeah, a bit overwhelmed today. I feel you. I definitely feel you on that. I'm also feeling it. Yeah, Karen, thanks for being here from Mass, and you're feeling okay. Alexandra's always working. Uh, yeah, Greenwood, Indiana. I've never been there. Jim from Montana. Welcome, Jim from Montana. I've never been to Montana. I've been to so many states. I've never been to Montana. Although being in Vermont, we're probably, straight across the country from each other. Um, Oil fields of West Texas. Yeah, even when it's slow. All right, well, keep busy. Um, keep busy, Stephen. All right, as we start all of these, I know Alexandra's here, Mary Ann's here. We have a couple of people, Positive Pete's here. If I'm missing someone, let me know. I know some of you have been on some of our other workshops, so welcome. As you know, when we start going here, um, we certainly got Callie in the house. We got Denver. We got West represented. Uh, Movement of the planets is exhausting. Yeah, it is. It's that type of alignment right now. But we will be aligned again soon, Marianne. So when we do these workshops, we usually start by getting completely present. So I'm happy that you're all sharing and that you're here and ready to be engaged and involved for about the next 90 minutes or so. To do that, to make sure we're fully present here, we want to do a short grounding exercise. And so we do that by just finding our breath. So if you would join me, you can close your eyes, or if closing your eyes is not comfortable for you, just bring your gaze down low, soften the eyelids, relax your shoulders. We carry so much tension on our shoulders. If you can, just let your shoulders think about it. And as you do that, you'll notice that your shoulders drop because we're always, carry so much tension there. So let your shoulders drop with your eyes closed. Just start breathing through your nose, but noticing the breath, noticing the air coming in and going out through your nose. There are a couple of helpful things to do to focus on the breath. You can focus on the air coming in and out just on the inside of your nose. You can also focus on trying to feel the air on that little space between the bottom of your nose and the top of your lip. You might also just feel the movement of the breath, your lungs expanding and contracting, your belly rising and lowering, your diaphragm rising and lowering. And as you breathe, you might just say to yourself, breath in, breath out, or love in, love out. Love in, love out. Just notice your breath for next 30 seconds or so. No thoughts, just breath. If a thought comes in, let it pass like a cloud passing through the sky. Just focus on the breath. An inhale followed by an exhale. Now that you're feeling more calm, when you're ready, let's clear out anything that's been holding us back. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to breathe deeply through our nose, hold it at the top, and then sigh it out. So take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it at the top, and sigh it out. And we're going to do 2 more of those. Deep breath in through your nose, take in little sips of air as much as you can deep down into your belly, and then sigh it out. And 1 more. Deep breath in through your nose. Take as much air as you can deep down into your lungs. Hold it, hold it. 2, 3, 4. Let it go. Let it all go. Let it all go. Let anything that was holding you back this week go. And now that you are grounded and present and ready for getting your epic daily ritual going, today we're going to design something deeply personal. It's your epic daily ritual. It's a simple morning and evening routine. I shouldn't even say routine because I'm going to discuss the difference between routine and ritual soon, but it's a simple morning and evening practice that helps you start your day with purpose and end your day with clarity. Wherever you are right now, you want to just at any time, you can always just return to that breath and know that when you return to that breath, you can return to focus on your goals, on your true self, and on your epic daily rituals. When you stick to those rituals, you become your true self. You are setting yourself up for success. This workshop isn't about doing more. We're just going to discuss adding things into your life. But when you do that, you also need to let some things go. It's about creating space for the things in your life that make you feel like your true self. So you can live with more intention, with clarity and presence every single day. So nothing here needs to be perfect. These are practices that you can implement into your life. Nothing needs to be copied from anyone else. I'm going to give you some suggestions about things that work for me, but find what works for you. This is about you. So, as we get going, first we want to talk about why rituals matter or why ritual matters. So, most people already have routines, things we do at certain times every single day. And, maybe you wake up and you make some coffee, or maybe you spend your lunch break scrolling social media. Uh, Maybe you listen to the same radio station, while you're driving to and from work. I mean, we all have lots of different rituals, or should I say routines. Routines are only repeated actions, though. They're also often made accidentally, just a product of our busy lives, rather than being our own desire and intention. They can be positive, negative, or, sort of have no real benefit one way or the other to you. They're just a part of your life. So a routine is functional. A routine is functional. A ritual is intentional. As you see there, a routine is just a product of our busy lives, as where rituals are intentional and meaningful. A ritual has meaning. It says this time that I'm making for myself. This time matters. I matter. My true self matters. You don't want to just run into your day being dragged around by whatever is next. You want to be intentional by making your time matter. The beginning and end of your day are powerful because they shape how you enter the world and how much you carry into tomorrow. Think about that. We're talking about the bookends today. We're talking about the epic morning ritual and evening ritual. We're talking about how you start your day, how you enter the world, and then what you carry into tomorrow or what you set your intention for tomorrow. I may discuss it later, but Gandhi said, each day I go to sleep, I die, and the next day I am reborn. We're given a new chance every single day, 24 hours. God gives us 24 hours to be our true selves, to live the life of our dreams. You're able to do that if you enter the world, if you start the day with intention, and then if you close the day with intention, you're able to set your intention up for the next day. This is about living as your true self. When mornings are rushed, the day just feels reactive. When you start your day with your thumbs on fire, texting, social media, direct messaging, I mean, endless things that you can do on your phone. And most people start their day connecting with everyone else before they connect with themselves. We want your morning to start with intention. And when evenings lack closure, your nervous system never really shuts off and you carry your burdens with you into tomorrow. You don't want to just end your day with your, falling asleep with your finger on the remote or, on the phone as the phone's falling, into your face or on your chest while you're lying in bed, or you're falling asleep watching the news or violence or, we'll go into all that later, but that's why the reason we bookend the days with ritual and purpose is because the morning is used for grounding, clarifying, and aligning your actions. The evening is meant to reflect, release, and prepare or plan for the next day. This is about living as your true self. This isn't self-care as an indulgence. This is self-leadership. This is you taking ownership of your precious time and energy and setting yourself up for success every single day. I track my rituals daily on my habitually inspired habit tracker that if you don't have it yet, you can download it from our website. It's part of our true self system. But the habitually inspired habit tracker, I track, how I wake up. I track, what time I go to sleep and what time I wake up. And that, I start my day meditating and journaling and getting into flow on a top priority. And then I also track my evening ritual. I mean, I track some other stuff in between as well, but how I close my day with PM journal. We'll go through all this later. For now, though, I want you to pull out your journal or piece of paper and your pen. Like I said, something to write with and something to write on. Um, and just take a moment to reflect. What are the first three things you do when you wake up? What are the first three things that you do when you wake up? And feel free to share these. You can put these in the chat. I know, some people, we started out giving some intros there. Um, but yeah, take a moment and reflect on that. I'll give you, actually think about it though. Don't, be responsive. Really, really think about it. What are the first three things you do when you wake up? I'll give you like 2 minutes to do that. All right, and take, another 30 seconds or so. All right. So, uh, Alexander, brush your teeth, take meds with OJ, and have a cigarette. I used to do that a long time ago. Try to avoid that. I know you don't need me telling you that, but yeah, turn off fan, straighten side of the bed, drink glass of water, turn off alarm, check notifications. There you go, CJ. Get rid of checking the notifications. Open window to let the light in. A few years ago, I started sleeping. I quit sleeping with the shades and stuff closed. I now uh, keep them open. I love like waking up with the sunlight. I was up late. I'm like I said, I'm sitting here packing up house. Um, I was up till 1:30 last night, which is never, it's been the case the last 2 or 3 days while I've been staying up trying to get this house all cleaned because we're going to list it next week. I usually am asleep by 10 and wake up at 5. But even, I try to get 7 hours of sleep a night, but even with that, like the sunlight, started waking me up by about 7, as exhausted as I was. It's nice sleeping with the curtains open and letting the sunlight in. Restroom, coffee, daily text, read and contemplate. Deep breathing. Yeah, Pete, that's the way to do it. All right. Well, thank you guys for sharing. I'll share mine. As soon as my feet hit the floor, and I can't say I do this every day, but I probably do this about 90% or more of my days. It's a practice I heard about a few years ago, and I can't figure out for the life of me. I reference it in my new book, uh, Be the Light in the Mirror. And in that book, I reference starting the day by saying it's going to be an amazing day. And I don't know where I found it. So if someone who's taught that. I know I heard it somewhere, but for about 5, 6 years, I've been starting my day every day. My first thought is, it's going to be an amazing day. What a cool thing. And I can't take credit for it. I learned it from someone, but I started doing it years ago and I love it. Each day I start and I fool myself into thinking it's going to be an amazing day, whether it is or it isn't. I've already set myself up for thinking it's going to be an amazing day. And obviously, it's going to be a lot better since that's my first thought. Next, I walk into the bathroom and I say, I love you in the mirror. I mean, I probably left out a step. Yeah, usually there's morning relief in the restroom as well. But and lastly, I meditate. And the practice of saying I love you in the mirror, learned from Dr. Wayne Dyer's book, The Power of Intention, a few years ago. And that's in large part what my new book is based on. And next, I meditate. Great way to start the day. Um, yeah, Chad, bathroom, coffee, feed, walk the dog. Similar, Brady's got coffee, feed, cat, emails. So, a comment, on the checking notifications, emails, daily texts, if you can find space to push that off, if you can wake up, 30 minutes earlier, an hour earlier somehow, and that's just by going to sleep a little bit earlier, allows you to get up earlier, to create that space to be fully present with yourself before you end up responding. When you're checking texts and emails and notifications, you're responding to the external stimulus and priorities of others instead of setting up your intention for the day. So, one thing I have to say about that, but thank you guys for sharing those. Now we're going to start working on setting up some epic morning and evening rituals. Um, and I guess now we want to go ahead and talk about designing your epic morning ritual. Let's go ahead and get into that. There's one other thing I was going to cover a prompt, but let's go ahead and get into it. Um, the purpose of rituals is to give yourself the space you need for living at your best. The goal of the morning ritual is not productivity, it's presence before input. So, like we are just talking about notifications, um, texts or emails. I mean, I used to wake up, and my thumbs would be on fire. Uh, you know, Either responding to, the the last person, the last day who was up working at 1:30 or 2 in the morning, which, sometimes was me. Um, or the first person who got up like Alexandra at 4:30 or 5. I now get up at 5. So I'm a little bit after you, Alexandra. But I would respond to, whoever sent the last thing. That is totally reactive. You want presence before input, presence before input. Set your intention for the day. You want to be present in your life with just you setting your intention without reacting to the inputs of others. Most mornings begin with phones, news, messages, other people's priorities. Your ritual creates a buffer between you and the world. We want that buffer to allow you to set your intention. Think of your morning ritual as a way to say, I decide how the day begins. I decide how this day begins. So the best rituals are simple, repeatable, and grounded in your natural energy. Today we're going to start your day off right with two habits that you can do in the first 2 minutes you're awake and set you up for success each and every day. And I already discussed these a little bit just by, the journal prompt we had about how we start our day. So I gave you a little bit of a preview there. But the first habit is as soon as your feet hit the floor in the morning, say to yourself, it's going to be an amazing day. Maybe even before your feet hit the floor. Sometimes I think that when I'm laying in bed, sometimes I forget to say it as soon as my feet hit the floor. And, as I stumble towards the restroom and, once I'm in the bathroom, sometimes I think, oh, I didn't say that. It's going to be an amazing day. And a smile comes to my face. I didn't look at my phone. I may have shut off an alarm, but I did not look at my phone. I don't take my phone, pick it up and take it in the bathroom with me. If anything, if you can, try to leave your phone in another room. But I know for a lot of us, it's our alarm clock or music we're listening to as we go to sleep or whatever it is. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you can say to yourself, it's going to be an amazing day, it's such a great way to do that. And I don't, Alexandra, do affirmations work? Um, I mean, this isn't even an affirmation. It's just a statement of fact. It's going to be an amazing day. I mean, I know it is because I've told myself it is, and I'm going to make it an amazing day. It's not like the old SNL Stuart Smalley. I don't know. Maybe I'm dating myself here. He used to say, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. So I don't know if this is an affirmation or not. What it is, though, is a statement of how your day is going to be. It's a statement of what your life is going to be that day. Because even if the worst thing happens, a lot of times when the worst things happen, it's where we learn the most or we overcome struggle or we overcome challenge. I keep realizing that, like, despite I have all these things coming at me at once. I mean, I had, one of the most challenging Januaries I ever had. But you know what? It's setting me up for a better February, for a better March, for the rest of the year. 2026 started, with so much intensity that it's only setting me up for success. So, yeah, even if today something happens, it still may be an amazing day because I learned something. So it's a great way to start the day. Doing this, you're already in the right frame of mind before you even see yourself with love in the mirror, which we'll talk about in a second. By expressing this, you're already grateful for the new day, ready to create what you intend, and excited to start your day with intention. You've set the course for the day and made a better life for yourself before you've done anything else. It's powerful. You now are being proactive from the very first step of your day. Yeah, I'm about to talk about Wayne Dyer saying I love you" in the mirror, but he had a great. I was listening to one of his speeches a couple months ago, and in it he said, "Do you want to be the type of person who starts the day and says, 'Good morning, God,' or 'Good God, morning'?" You know, you get to choose. Same words, you get to choose. It's going to be an amazing day. Just try it. Let me know. Maybe it doesn't work for you, maybe it will. But hey, it can't hurt trying it, right? So definitely, Jack, go go ahead and try. Um, for me, I heard it somewhere. I tried it. I'm sharing it with you. It has had a positive impact on my life for a number of years. So speaking about a number of years, it was back in 2018. I realized that for years I had been on the hamster wheel, like a lot of us are, or were. But just I was going through the motions back then. And in 2018, I decided, and I guess at that point, what I was like 44, 43, 44. Um, and I guess I had three kids. Now I have seven. But life changes quickly. And gray hair and balding happens quickly too with all those kids. But I decided in 2018, I decided I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had a complete awakening. I mean, a spiritual awakening. And I'd always been spiritual, but I mean, I had this substantial awakening. I decided I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I decided to start working on improving myself and to start growing again. And I read The Power of Intention by Dr. Wayne Dyer around that time. And in that, he recommends to look into a mirror, make eye contact with yourself, and say, I love you. After I read that, I'm like, okay, I'll try it. Sounds easy enough, right? To just look in a mirror and say, I love you. But honestly, it was harder than I would have expected. And it felt a little awkward at first. Now, I've always been a happy, loving person, but like a lot of us, I was also always very critical of myself. So when I looked in the mirror, I didn't just see love. I usually saw someone that wasn't hitting their potential. Even though I seemed successful, I felt like, it wasn't all quite right. I had been, a big firm lawyer and then started a clean energy business and father. And, to the outside world, I appeared successful, but I didn't feel successful. I would look in the mirror and I would think of all the things that, I didn't do right or where I was lacking or what wasn't going well. Or even I'd think about, you know, people that I was dealing, I'd look in the mirror and I didn't just see love, but I kept doing it, meaning saying I love you in the mirror. And after a while, it doesn't feel so awkward. Saying I love you in the mirror each morning starts to feel warm and heartfelt. And I kept doing it. And I started living in this constant state of love, happiness, and bliss. When you see the light and love in the mirror, it allows you to see light and love in everything and in everyone else. This one practice, starting your day, saying I love you in the mirror, can transform everything else in your life. And it has for me, and I hope that it can for you too. I really hope that you'll try it. You get what you ask for in life. So you want to stop asking for what you already have. You want to start a new narrative. Put love and happiness on a continual loop in your mind. We control our mind. You want to start the day seeing love in the mirror. So, I mean, here are 4 absurdly easy steps to start living the life of your dreams. You're going to think this is ridiculous, but it's this easy. First, wake up. You already do that, right? Or at least we hope you do. If you don't do that, you probably wouldn't be on this call. Next, look yourself in the mirror. Probably already do that after you wake up too, right? When you go to brush your teeth or brush your hair, whatever. Next, say, I love you. And then fourth, just repeat. Do that every single day, day after day, year after year. And I don't just do it in the morning. I walk by a mirror. Like I said, I'm cleaning up the house. I'm going from room to room and bathroom. I see a mirror. I walk by. I go back. I look in the mirror and say, I love you. I was exhausted. I felt like heck, I have all this stuff going on in my personal and business life. It's so busy right now. But I stop. I look in the mirror and said, I love you. And a big smile comes on my face. I love this guy I'm looking at. Not this self-aggrandizing ego love, the pure love of light of God and the universe just looking at me saying, I love you. Just like when you stop to take a breath, like we did at the beginning of the call, it recharges you. It recharges you every time you look in the mirror and say it. All right, you already do steps one and two, and just add in three and four. If it's this simple and takes no more than a few seconds each morning and costs absolutely nothing, then you can start doing that today or start tomorrow morning. It can have such a huge impact on your happiness and sets the stage for a great day, regardless of what happens. Remember, I said earlier, this is not about doing more. This not isn't about adding more to your life. This is about creating space. You just took each of those two steps. It's going to be an amazing day, and I love you in the mirror. You may even say your name. I love you, Ben. Or I love you, Alexander. I love you, Jack. I love you, Stephen, Chad, Brandy, Pete, Jim, CJ. You just say, I love you, Ben. It would be weird if you said, I love you, Ben. But anyway, um, just try it. We're talking about 2 seconds and costs nothing, but can absolutely transform your life. Why wouldn't you? All right, so there's some building blocks. And we're going to start adding some other things besides these things that just take a couple seconds. And this is where you're really trying to create that space. And again, not a huge time suck for you, but these are the building blocks of your epic morning ritual. Stillness, awareness, intention, energy, and inspiration. Now, you certainly don't have to do all of these. You don't need all these in any way. Just pick a few that resonate with you. And oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say it earlier. You don't need to write any of this down. We're going to make the recording from today available to you, and the slides we're going to make available to you, as well as some of our resources like the Epic Daily Ritual Guide. If you have not downloaded that from our website, from the True Self System, we'll send you the Epic Daily Ritual Guide. I'm not sure if we send it, Chad, or not, but the Habitually Inspired Habit Tracker, we probably send as well. And you can always download that from our website too. Um, which actually, I don't know if you're sharing screen, Chad, but that just showed up in front of the slide. There you go. Thanks. So of these, if you're choosing stillness, we're talking about focusing on the breath like we did. Silence. Silence. I teach a yin yoga class on Saturdays at Von Trapp Family Lodge um, in Stowe, Vermont, which is an absolutely beautiful place. Have you ever seen The Sound of Music? It's the Von Trapp family owns this amazing resort in the mountains in Vermont. So I teach yoga there. I teach yin yoga and meditation there. And we call my class Sacred Stillness. Just take a few moments to breathe. Find stillness and quiet. It's so incredibly important. Um, Awareness. We're going to talk about each of these in a little bit more detail, but journaling. You're doing an emotional checkout. You're aware of where you are in your life and you're capturing it. And next, we want to talk about intention. We talk about this, how do you want to show up today? And you'll see in a little bit, that starts the night before. By an epic evening ritual thing we do is setting your intention for tomorrow. I do a quick PM journal, which we'll talk about in a little bit. It includes three things: your wins for the day, so you're celebrating your progress, how you want to show up the next day, and your big three priorities for the next day. So how you want to show up the next day you're setting yourself up by listing that at night. And then when you start your day, you have that intention. Energy. A couple people listed, starting the day with, coffee, orange juice, water. If at all possible, have some water or herbal tea. Try to wake up, avoid the caffeine initially. I know, so many of us, want or need caffeine. If you can, start your day without it. I don't want to be too preachy. I kicked it a few years ago, kind of unintentionally. I was sick during COVID days when we were all at home, and not with COVID, but like a stomach bug. Um, and one day, and just since I had like stomach bug, I couldn't drink coffee. My belly hurt too much. I had some caffeinated tea, like English breakfast tea, and I used to get migraines. I used to get headaches um, when I would not have about the same amount of caffeine every day. You may get caffeine headaches too, but um, I then missed a day of having my caffeinated tea, and I didn't get a headache. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with worrying about how much and when I'm having my coffee or tea and getting migraines and stuff. And I switched to herbal tea. And this is, yeah, what, 6 years ago? And I don't have caffeine anymore at all. So if you can, start your day hydration. Your body needs to hydrate. Have some water next to the bed or, in the bathroom or go to the kitchen. Hydrate. Start your day getting hydrated. Particularly when it's winter and it's so dry out. Great way to start your day is with some hydration and energy, light movement, whether that's, some light yoga, walking. A number of people mentioned walking dogs and stuff. If you can, get some movement into your body. Yeah, way to go, Jack. That's awesome. Love that. And yeah, Alexandra, the headaches are tough, man. If you can possibly get rid of caffeine, that would be great. I used to suffer from it so badly. And bad migraines. Anyway, and then inspiration. A reading, mantra, gratitude. I write three things I'm grateful for in my journal. So I meditate, then I journal, and in that I do gratitude as well. Um, yeah. Yeah, I hear you, Karen. If you drink decaf now, um, yeah, I mean, I do have decaf. I will say, I get like a decaf latte, decaf oat milk latte because I don't drink dairy anymore. But yeah, I mean, there are tons of options, tons of options. But yeah, inspiration. Read something that inspires you. I don't know if you can see. Let me look at the camera here. Yeah, I don't know if you can see her, but I have a book, Daily Wisdom, the Bhagavad Gita, The Way to Wealth, Be the Sun, Not the Salt. Great book. As a Man Thinketh by James Baldwin, great book. The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday, and The Holy Bible by lots of people and God. Um, some of those are spiritual books from Judaism, Hinduism, Christianity. Um, And I've also they're not there because they're actually in my backpack, but I mean I have the Taoism, I have the five precepts of Buddhism are sitting right there. There's limitless inspiration. There's limitless inspiration. Spirituality, readings, mantra. Start your day getting inspired. Again, if you do these things, let's say, start with a little bit of meditation and a little bit of journaling, hydration, and setting your intention, and then reading something inspirational. I mean, all that could take you, less than a half hour. I like to spend, an hour to an hour and a half doing these things. So I'm fully focused. I mean, I get up at 5, so I can be up and by 6:30 be getting the kids ready. But 5 to 6:30 is that sacred time for me. So we can go into a couple of these in a little bit more detail. About creating your epic morning ritual. Um, yeah, it's funny. You mentioned Alexandra, Buddhist sayings. I didn't know much about Buddhism until I did my yin yoga teacher training about a year and a half ago. And, we started following the five precepts. And I started reading more. Since then, I've read the Dhammapada. There's also an extensive volume I've been listening to in the Buddha's words, which are, a bunch of captured lots of information from his disciples, reciting what he said at different places. And it's been powerful. The Tao Te Ching, I listen to or read almost daily. If you haven't read the Tao Te Ching, it's very inspirational, very easy to read, very easy to listen to on Audible, and it's short and incredibly powerful for focusing on what matters. All right, let me get into it though. First, meditation, mindfulness, and meditation. Making meditation a daily practice, particularly right after you wake up. And there's science behind why it's so beneficial right after you wake up. Um, because you're in the subconscious state still between waking and sleeping. You're in the beta state, and your brain waves are set up in a way that you're able to tap into your subconscious and your creativity. And it allows you, when you meditate, when you first wake up, it sets your intention for the day and allows you to be the person you see at the center of your soul when you close your eyes. So, would you rather start your day by opening your eyes to read an email or closing your eyes to see who you were meant to be and figure out how to live well? And our minds are so active. Our minds are so active. Chris, thank you for sharing that. Uh, I love that. I have not seen RPM. I've not seen that. I read a lot of Wayne Dyer, Chris, but I have not come across that. RPM, rise, pee, meditate. Love it. Thanks, Chris. That's awesome. Uh, I always love picking up new Wayne Dyer stuff. Um, so, the point in that of meditating is if you want to really use the capacity of your brain to show you who you are, what you're capable of, and your connection to the universe and your true self. Wake up and go within. Close your eyes to see. And you don't necessarily, it doesn't have to be hard or complicated. It can just be sitting quietly and breathing for a few minutes, just noticing the breath. I meditate for about a half hour every morning. I'm not saying you necessarily have to do that long, but take a few moments. Um, yeah, some people ask, I think we have it up there. Yeah. Um, what's the difference between meditation and prayer? And meditation, I say, is meditation is prayer without asking for anything. You're just connecting with the source of all that is without needing or asking for anything. Now, you might get clear direction, you might have a clear vision, but you want to try to quiet the mind and open the heart. Quiet the mind and open the heart. Let's get into journaling. So after I meditate, I then journal. And usually I journal what came up while I was meditating. I try to quiet the mind and just focus on the breath. But at a certain point, I also find some clear vision or something comes to me. Now, I used to look for some eureka moment, but it doesn't necessarily happen. And sometimes it does, but instead, you're able to see things more clearly, during or after meditation, and journaling is that practice of turning your thoughts into reality. Once you're done meditating, you just take, 2 minutes to 12 minutes to write down what you thought about, prayed on, or saw in your mind's eye. That's your true self speaking to you. That's your higher power directing you where to go. You want to write about your challenges, your hopes, your dreams, and relationships. You want to write about uh, divine inspiration that you must act on. I'll get some thought and I'd be like, you know what? I got to do that. But the point is, you got to get it out of your mind and down on paper. Because once you get it down on paper, you can then take action. If you don't, usually we forget all those things that we had just thought about. You want to write about whatever is meaningful to you. Just get it out of your mind and down on paper. The practice of journaling allows your thoughts to become reality. Allows your thoughts to become reality. And you may even want to put in there, um, you know, for practicing that gratitude, what, write down three things you're grateful for, and then write what came up for you during meditation. Now, another concept for getting into starting your day off right, and it's about blocking 60 to 90 minutes. So this is a little bit more work related. The other things you can do before you start your day, before you look at the phone, before you do anything. But now we're going to get into, being truly successful by accomplishing your goals, by being your true self, getting into a flow state. You want to schedule in your calendar at least 60 to 90 minutes early in your day to handle your biggest priority. You'll see in a minute, we're going to talk about the evening journal. You want to journal three things that you're going to do the next day. You should schedule that time and do it before noon. And don't delay. Do something that your future self would do to get to your big goal. So if you haven't done it, you should join us for the Aligned Habits Workshop. We do the Aligned Habits Workshops. Um, I think the next one we're doing is going to be next week on the 12th. We had done those for a while. We were doing it at the beginning of the year. We actually did a goal setting thing. So we haven't done the regular Aligned Habits Workshop in a little bit. So I hope you'll join us for that. That's going to be the 12th. But in that Aligned Habits Workshop, we talk about setting big goals and then creating the habits to implement those goals. So you want to start your day by doing something that your true self would do. It's one of those of getting to your big goals. This is handling what matters most, not just going through the motions every day. I like to say, don't go through the motions at work, make your motions work. Don't go through the motions at work, make your motions work. Don't delay. Do it early in the morning. Do the hardest thing first. As Brian Tracy describes in his book, Eat That Frog, if you get the biggest priority done before noon, the rest of the day is smooth sailing and can be spent communicating with others and handling the minutia. Your daily big three priorities are rocks. The most critical actions you must get done that day, meaning the rocks you move up the hill. Those are the things you must get done that day to move your dreams forward or just handle what has to be done. It helps if your big three, if you journal them the night before, which we're going to get to in the epic evening ritual. But if you make those aligned with your big annual, quarterly, and monthly goals, you'll start achieving your goals without question. You don't just do menial tasks each day that keep you stuck on that hamster wheel. Don't get sucked into other people's distractions. Don't let everyone suck you in on the phone. Take control of your life. Take big action to become who you're meant to be. So let's go over some tips for consistency. And like I said, you can add other things into your epic morning ritual. This is for you to design. I'm giving you tips and tricks that have worked well for me and for others and body of reading and knowledge I've done over the years. And there are some things that work. But we're going to talk about just tips and tricks. So here they are. So you want to start small. Like I said, if 5 a.m. feels like a stretch, start at 6. Meaning you need to make some extra time. You need to carve out time for yourself. If you just get up in time to get yourself out the door and ready for work, or get the kids ready and off to school, or get the dog out and do all those things you have to do, you're not going to create this time. So you need to create some time. But start small on any of these. Like if 5 a.m. is a stretch, start at 6. If journaling feels foreign, just write 3 things you're grateful for. Progress is the goal. So you don't have to do everything at once. Next, consistency over perfection. You don't need to check every box every day, but the more you do, the faster you'll reconnect with your natural, joyful state. You just want consistency every single day. Work on doing it. You don't necessarily have to get everything done. Just be consistent about working on trying to accomplish an epic morning ritual. Next is you want to anchor to your why or your purpose. This isn't about productivity for productivity's sake. It's about living as your most joyful and impactful true self. The person you love in the mirror, who you truly want to see. So if you struggle to define your purpose, we do have the course that we just launched. It's not as much of a course as I call it a challenge. So it's the True Self Project. It's a 30-day habit challenge, which is made to help you go deep on your purpose, your goals, and your habits. The reason I raise that is because in the True Self Project, we start with the why, with your purpose in life. So many people say, what's my purpose in life? We've developed the tools and resources to help you find your why. And once you know that, you can then anchor your morning rituals into things that help you become the person who you're meant to be, that help you answer the why. Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? What is my purpose in life? If you know that, which we help you get to in the True Self Project, then you're able to have every morning anchored in your why. I know why I'm getting up. I've got huge things to accomplish, but I do them in bite-sized chunks every single day. Again, the prior one, consistency over perfection. You can't cram it all in. You got to make small steps every day. Great book. I'd never read it. And it's funny because I write a lot about habits. Um, I just read, reading, I haven't finished it yet, Atomic Habits by James Clear. I recommend you read that. Um, the next one for building your rituals, use strategic ignorance. You want to block out all the noise of negativity and negative news and distractions. You want to choose what you feed your mind intentionally. You want to consume only positive content. So I'll talk more about it later in the workshop, but strategic ignorance is choosing not to choosing not to watch the news, choosing not to be dragged into all the nonsense that's going on all around you and all around the world because it doesn't matter very much. It doesn't help you achieve your goals. Now, the last tip for building your rituals is to make it sacred. You want to treat your checklist or your items to do in the morning, like saying I love you in the mirror, it's going to be an amazing day, meditating, journaling. Again, all this shouldn't take much time, but it sets you up for success. You want to treat this like a sacred ritual, not a chore. It's your daily devotion to becoming your true self, and it's the fastest path to living the life of your dreams. Treat it like it's sacred. These are rituals again. These aren't just routines. Accomplishing your purpose in life is sacred. Make it sacred time. This is sacred time for me. This isn't time to be answering texts and emails and checking social media. That's not sacred. Living your life on purpose is sacred. So now let's work on building our morning ritual, our epic AM ritual. So let's design your morning ritual. So I said earlier, have a piece of paper, something to write with and something to write on. On your paper, write my morning ritual. And then answer these three questions. How much time do I realistically have? Now remember, you can create time. Just means might need to get up a little bit earlier and go to sleep a little bit earlier, but how much time do I realistically have? And look, 10 to 30 minutes is okay. You do need to carve out a little bit of time for yourself, though. Again, it's self-leadership. It's not self-care as indulgence. This is how you're going to live life on purpose. So how much time do you realistically have? And then how do you want to feel after your ritual? And next, which 3 to 5 practices support that feeling? Will help you feel, I don't want to like your true self. I won't. Most of us want to be whatever. I'm not going to feed you how you should feel. How do you want to feel? I want to know how you want to feel. And take a couple minutes with this. Take uh let's see, it's one. Take like 3 minutes. Okay. Um, take like 3 minutes. And when you're done, if you want to just type done in the chat, you can start putting your answers in if you want, or you can type done. I want to make sure I'm not giving too much time and making people sit here if you're already done. But I'll say 3 minutes. If everyone's done sooner than that, we can jump back on. So I'll give you like 3 minutes now. All right, it's been about 3 minutes. Let me know if you need more time. I'll give you take another 30 seconds or so. And if you need more time, just tell me if you want more time or if you're done. Okay. All right, so folks are done. All right, we can go ahead and get cranking here. Yeah, and I want to make sure I give everyone enough time, but also don't want to make everyone, awkwardly sit, on the workshop without, you know, awkward silence. Although, as we were talking about earlier, silence is a good thing. All right, CJ, love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, about 30 minutes. Would like to feel clear and energized. Could try breath work, hydration, meditation, journaling. Perfect. You're on the right path. Um, that's great. Yeah. I I mean, answering these myself, I mean, I realistically have 90 minutes. I started getting up at 5 and I start getting the kids ready for school at 6:30. So I have about an hour and a half, which is a ton of time. And, I want to feel calm, clear, and inspired. I want to feel calm, clear, and inspired is what comes to mind. And my 3 to 5 practices that support that feeling are um, meditation and journaling. And I do my flow a little bit later in the day. I mean, I'd add that, but that's, getting into my work day. So I do schedule that flow time, but I also want to add, I reading something inspiring, a lot of times I'll read. I'd like to do that. Sometimes I was doing that in the morning before going to get the kids up. I'd like to get back to that. I was reading the Bhagavad Gita and the Tao Te Ching, the Bible or something inspirational every morning. I'll get back to that. Jim's doing 2 hours. That's great. Feel like I accomplished something toward my big goals. Go to bed earlier, get up earlier, delay checking devices. Excellent. Delay those devices. Exercise, journaling, and follow up. That's great. All right. Um, Nice work, everyone. Thanks for taking that time to do that. I mean, that's really the building block of what we're doing here. Jack's got 30 minutes. Want to feel deeper connection to your life, less detached, less them, more me. Absolutely. You know what? There's more of you for them if you connect to yourself first. I mean, you're able to be there for your friends and loved ones more if you are fully present for yourself first. So silence, journaling, and deep breathing, quiet prayer. Um, all right, sounds, yeah, love it. Absolutely great. Absolutely great. Thanks for sharing that, everyone. And you can still put stuff in. Don't hesitate to continue to put stuff in if you want to. Um, yeah, this is just take like real quick. I just want to add something else. And, that is setting up the right sort of environment, setting yourself up for success. So I have a couple other questions and just take it very briefly. I want you to write down two other things, which is where will this happen and what's not allowed during this time. Again, we said this is sacred time. So consider this like going into a temple, or, going into the woods or going somewhere sacred. Where will this happen? I mean, for me, um, I've been meditating in my bedroom, and then I go over into my office and I journal and we'll look at something inspirational. And you know, no phone is allowed during that time. I have no phone for about the first hour and a half, first 90 minutes. Once I'm done with my ritual, I'll then look at my phone. Um, Sometimes though, I'll go first couple hours of the day without really getting into it. So yeah, just take, another few seconds here. Where will this happen and what's not allowed during this time? Yeah, I hear you on being at home, CJ. All right. So let's keep moving because we still got a decent amount to cover. We want to start getting into our epic evening ritual. Yeah, good job on no social media. Um, On the epic evening ritual, let's start forming that. Designing your epic evening ritual. You know, your morning is how you start your day with intention. But starting your day right is only possible if you close your day strong. So let's talk about how we close, because if you think about it, how you feel in the morning has a lot to do with how you felt when you went to bed, right? Yeah, we're talking about the bookends of the day, but actually they're at either end, but they're also joined when you go to the next day. Um, so you want to close strong so that you're able to properly rest and unload your day. The two rituals are at opposite ends of your day, but are completely linked together. Your PM ritual can be any time in the evening. You know, mine starts as done with as soon as I'm done with work, so that I'm dedicating the rest of my day to what matters most, to my true self and to my family. But the time before we go to sleep, let's just call this the last hour before you go to sleep, is vital in getting proper rest. So, like our bodies digest our dinner while we sleep, our minds digest what we fed them before as well, before bed. So, if you go to bed worried, you'll wake up worried. If you go to sleep angry, you'll carry that anger with you into tomorrow too. If you go to bed absorbing horrible news stories, you'll probably feel anxious and on edge in the morning. And we'll talk about, you know, what those news stories are designed for, and that's making you feel fear and stress. But the opposite is also true. If you go to bed feeling satisfied with your day, you'll wake up energized for what's ahead. If you journal about what you want tomorrow to be like, you'll wake up with purpose and clarity. If you end your night with quality time with your family, you'll wake up with love and gratitude. We're going to talk about your evening journal, which is closing the day. Your PM routine is all about closure. Most people end their day the same way they started it: overstimulated, distracted, unfinished, just trying to numb ourselves, you know, with drugs, alcohol, news, social media, whatever it is, instead of just being your true self. Your evening ritual isn't about fixing the day. It's not about cramming more in or numbing ourselves before bed. It's about closing strong. You gotta close strong. Think about you know, the best players in anything. They close strong. You know, whether that's, you know, Saquon Barkley or Lionel Messi. You know, they don't crap out like in the last few seconds of a game. They give it their all right until it's over. You gotta close strong. Your nightly ritual says, today is complete. I'm ready for tomorrow. I can rest now. It's about leaving behind your burdens and carrying forward your wins. When you don't close mental loops, your mind keeps working on it all night. If you just numb yourself so that you can fall asleep with whatever substances or stimulus you can, then you haven't fully solved those issues that your brain was working on before. You haven't closed the mental loops. And we don't celebrate your day, you won't maintain positive momentum. Tomorrow, the evening ritual says, today is complete. I'm ready for tomorrow. I can rest now. And, you know, there are lots of things that we can do, but getting restful sleep is so important. You know, we shouldn't be poisoning ourselves to try to fall asleep. I love this motivational speaker, Prince EA. He asked in one of his videos, this is great. I was watching this. I like got a kick out of it. He said, if you had $1 million thoroughbred racehorse, would you give it cigarettes, alcohol, and junk food and let it stay up all night watching TV? No, of course not. So why do we do this to ourselves? to our brains and our bodies. Think about how you would treat $1 million thoroughbred racehorse and what routines, rituals that you would make it go through so that it could be at its peak performance. You want to feed your body and your brain only the healthiest food and content. You're worth far more than a racehorse that lives in a stall. You're worth more than anything in the world. You are everything in the world. You're a human being who can do more than just run fast. You can create amazing things. And this world needs you to be at your best, and we need you now. You got to be able to close strong. You need to be fully present and loving yourself as you fall asleep. Now, let's look at some of the PM building blocks. And you want to choose what feels calming and supportive for you. And we're going to get into some of these. I'll go into a little bit more detail on some of these and we'll go through it. But the building blocks are reflection, gratitude, release, preparation, and regulation. Again, I don't want this to be daunting because all these things can only take, a couple minutes to do. But instead of spending your evening binging Netflix and then passing out, or drinking and smoking weed or doing whatever. I mean, I used to, smoke weed before bed. But I'd wake up slow and my head would hurt. It's horrible. You want to be present. You want to make an effort to be fully present with yourself and those you love. It means trying to eliminate numbing yourself and distractions, especially the phone, a weapon of mass destruction. So reflection, journaling your wins. In my journal, it's down here. Unabashedly called the best journal ever. In that journal, every day I journal my wins. So at least three or more wins. And how I want to show up tomorrow, as well as my big three for the next day. So that takes me about 3 minutes, tops. Gratitude. What are you grateful for? Release. Brain dump, emotional processing. You may want to journal some more about, things you felt that day. Preparation. Like I said, what are my big three what are my big three priorities for the next day? That preparation takes, looking at my calendar briefly, and don't get distracted. Like I may look at my phone for my calendar, see what I have in my calendar, my computer to see what I have in my schedule, but I don't then click to social media and email and text, etc. And lastly, regulation. Maybe you want to meditate some more. Maybe you just want to focus on the breath. Regulating how your body feels. I fall asleep with my hand on my heart saying, I love you. And then I start sending that love to usually all of my family, some people I interacted with that day, people I know I'll interact with tomorrow. Just focusing on my breath and sending love to myself and others. As a society, we're just so distracted with all the apps, social media, text, work email, reminders and notifications on our phones that we're getting very far removed from ourselves and our families. That's why, depression, anxiety are at an all-time high. It's from those little devices. Yes, we can keep in touch with everyone, but at the expense of ourselves and the people who are right next to us. Here's a really poignant quote about that. Kim Oleana, who's a children's book author, said, "Your cell phone won't feel bad if you don't pay attention to it. It won't care if you haven't played with it in a while. It won't mind if you don't hold it. Your cell phone will be small forever. Your children will not." poignant, hits home. We're all guilty of it. For the sake of our loved ones, our children, our friends, our pets, our partners, and most importantly, ourselves, put down the phone. Even for a few minutes, try to be fully present. Life is passing us by while we spend countless hours on these stupid devices that we call smartphones. The best practice is not to use the phone for the first hour of the day and the last hour of the night. Like we said, with our epic morning and evening ritual, no phone for the first hour of the day and the last hour of the night. It allows you to disconnect from the distractions of the world and reconnect with yourself during the most important moments of your day. As you wake up and set your intention, and as you close your day. You want to feed your brain positive content before you sleep. Read a book, exercise, or listen to an inspiring content. Do what Karen does. Leave the phone, in another room. Mel Robbins suggests doing that in one of her books as well. Put the phone on the charger, in the kitchen or living room or somewhere else. Your brain is processing what you consume as you fall asleep. So you want to make it inspiring content, content that makes you the best version of yourself. Now, we described the evening journal. Your wins from today, how you want to show up tomorrow, and your big three for tomorrow. 3 things you have to get done. Karen, I can make a list of some of those books. I don't know if Chad, if you want to put any of those in, but yeah, we'll go back through it. We'll make a note and get those out to everyone. Um, your big three are the 3 most important things that you'll get done tomorrow. You journal these every night so that you can wake up clear and aligned. If you know what you're supposed to do the next day, then you're going to be able to go as soon as your feet hit the floor. You don't have to waste a ton of mental activity stressed about what has to get done. If the night before you journaled your big 3 priorities, nothing else should matter. The other things are all just a distraction. All the little stuff that comes up, it's all not your priority. Handle your big 3 for the next day. As soon as your feet hit the floor in the morning, you know which direction to go. But these shouldn't be small tasks that you'll get done. Your big 3 should be 3 things that will help you live as your true self and achieve your goals. By journaling before bed, you allow your brain to work on your priorities while you sleep. Thomas Edison said, "Never go to sleep without a request of your subconscious." Never go to sleep without a request of your subconscious. Thomas Edison would think about a problem and then go to sleep. And a lot of times the answer would come to him. Why not let your brain work for you while you sleep? It takes less than 3 minutes each night before you head off to bed. So that's your PM journal. It's really a big priority. And it's a great, great practice. And we've already talked about this somewhat, but you also need to get at least 7 hours of sleep. I mean, I don't know the exact science, but I'm pretty sure I've looked it up when I was writing my book, and it says the average adult needs about 7 hours of sleep. Sleep isn't a luxury. It's a foundation. We like stay up as long as we can watching the stuff, looking at our phones, and we're like, oh, we got to get up. And if you're up till 1, it's tough to get up at 6. 5 hours sleep isn't going to cut it. You're going to feel not well all day. Just like you wouldn't skip meals and expect to thrive physically, you can't sacrifice sleep every night and expect to thrive mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. By getting 7 hours of sleep, you get the proper reset that your body and your mind deserve. During deep sleep, your brain clears out mental clutter. Your body repairs itself, and your nervous system rebalances. Creativity, clarity, patience, and emotional regulation all depend on how well you sleep. Another thing you want to do as part of your epic evening ritual is review your habit tracker. Tally your score for the day. If you don't have this yet, the habitually inspired habit tracker, it's on our website under the True Self system. And I think we'll probably send it in the recap as well of this. You'll get later today or tomorrow of this workshop. This worksheet, the habit tracker, is where you align your habits with your goals and you keep daily track of your consistency. Every day, make a check mark for each habit that you accomplish. At the end of each day, tally up the column and write the total in the daily score row. At the end of each week, you want to tally your daily scores from the week and write the total in the weekly score row. Now, keep in mind, the goal here is to build lasting habits, so don't expect to be perfect. By tracking your habits week after week, you'll continually improve and accomplish them while seeing how you progress towards or throughout the month. So let's work on building our epic evening ritual. So, just like we did earlier, you want to write down my evening ritual. And then how much time do I want here? 5 to 20 minutes. It'd be great if you could make it an hour. How do I want to feel going to bed? Which 3 to 5 practices support that feeling? So we're a little bit tight on time. I guess I've been rambling too much today, but just take, maybe 2 to 3 minutes and journal. How much time do I want to focus on this, on your evening ritual? How do I want to feel going to bed? And which 3 to 5 practices support that feeling? All right. Take just another few seconds here. I know we're a little bit behind, and you can always do any of these exercises, after as well. You'll get the recap, you'll get the slides. You need to spend some time doing these and developing your epic evening ritual. But take another few seconds here, and then we'll jump back in. All right, let's keep going here. If you can, write down, just take another few seconds here and write down what habit or behavior needs to stop at night. Like, what signals the end of your day? And what's not allowed during this time? Meaning, what habit or behavior do you not want to do? What is going to interrupt your sacred time? What signals the end of your day? Karen's dog says it's time to go to bed at 7:30. Wow. I wish I could go to sleep at 7:30. With seven kids, there's no way I'm getting to bed at 7:30. Um, but yeah, I'll tell you, my dog, our 1-year-old dog, we have a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old, a golden and a border collie. But um, yeah, she's done like 9 o'clock. She just goes to sleep wherever she is in the middle of everyone. She sleeps. That's funny. Um, that's great. And what's not allowed during that time? Phones left in the living room. It can be different things for different folks, but that last hour is so sacred. You want to really protect your ritual. We're going to start, heading towards integrating this into your life and closing. Um, the ritual isn't just something that you do. It's something that you become. You're becoming your true self. You're creating sacred time, not to escape your life, but to live it more fully. I invite you to commit to this as a 7-day experiment. Not forever. Just try 7 days. While building strong habits takes longer than a week, you'll see the benefits of these rituals in your life immediately. More restful sleep, alignment, the clarity in your daily life, and a strong foundation to return to when the overwhelm of modern life creeps in. These rituals make an impact almost immediately in your life. You want to just take the time to create this strong foundation. It's the strong foundation to return to when the overwhelm of modern life creeps in. Just close your eyes and take a breath and ask yourself, who do I become when I honor myself like this every day? Your epic daily ritual exists to help you. You want to thank yourself for showing up. This is how change actually begins, by taking the time. So take just a moment here and just journal. My epic daily ritual exists to help me blank. Finish the sentence. This is both the evening and the morning ritual. My epic daily ritual exists to help me what? Chad has live at my best. I have live as my true self. I also have live aligned. I've made the acronym aligned: abundance, love, inspiration, God, now, eternal, destiny, aligned. That's when I live aligned. When I have that mindset that allows me to live aligned, my ritual exists to help me progress in life. It's great, Jim. Thank you. Slow down and focus. Yes. Yeah, CJ, you should come to our focused and free workshop. I'm not sure when we're doing that. Check the website. We'll be doing that in a couple weeks. So yeah, you want to thank yourself for showing up today. Um, my ritual helps me contain my scattered mind and forgive myself when I do have that mind. Yeah. Um, we all have the scattered mind. Yeah, Jack, be a human being, not human doing. Yes, absolutely. Um, yeah, we all have that scattered mind. I mean, that's what these practices help you, do what you want to do, contain that scattered mind and live in peace. In the Tao Te Ching, it says, I have nothing to teach but three things: simplicity, patience, and compassion. These are your three great treasures. And for compassion, it says, compassion for yourself and others. Compassion starts with yourself. You say there, Karen, forgive myself when you do have that mind. It's the mind's natural inclination. Again, we're quoting Wayne Dyer a lot today. Wayne Dyer said once in a speech that we have 60,000 thoughts per day. I don't know who's measuring these thoughts, but supposedly we have 60,000 of them. The people responsible for counting such things have decided. But, it's all over the place all the time. These practices give you the opportunity to be the observer of those thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You exist beyond your thoughts. If you are the observer, you can say to yourself, I see my brain is talking about all these things, but that is not me. That is what your spiritual self exists beyond that. To be the observer of your life, of the observer of your thoughts. So, um, I know we've run over. We usually try to stick to about 90 minutes or so. Um, but I really appreciate the hard work everyone did today. And, thank yourself for being there. I did mention earlier the True Self Project, which goes deep, deep into these concepts. It's a 30-day habit challenge. It's 30 days of absolute transformation. We filmed this I filmed a video every day and we did journaling and exercises. And Chad and I developed this from like July through December. There's a ton of great content there. If you haven't signed up, you should go ahead and sign up. It's really an absolute transformational 30-day challenge, the True Self Project. We will work on, we started that going through um, setting, finding your purpose and then setting goals to help you achieve that purpose, and then habits that help you hit those goals and make achieving those goals inevitable. Then we talk about, a lot of the things we talked about today, but in great detail of, positive habits. And then we talk about some bad habits. And then we talk about closing strong and living aligned. It's short video every day for 30 days. Um, you don't have to do it all in 30 days. You could take longer than that, but if you do one a day for 30 days, it's uh will take you 1 month. You can be your true self in 1 month. Actually, before that, I think probably about 3 weeks of doing it, you will be your true self. So thank you for taking a look at that. And, follow us on social media. We're always posting new stuff and new courses, and we'll get some more meditations and things up there, as well as some of the resources we talked about today. You can just search my name, Ben Parvey, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and hope you'll join us at one of those places. And we have more workshops coming too. Uh, as I mentioned earlier, we do have a number of workshops coming up. We have the Aligned Habits workshop next week, followed by the Focused and Free Break the Distractions workshop on the 19th. So those are for the next couple of weeks. We have a couple other workshops going on. So hopefully you can join us for those. Excuse me. Truly appreciate you being here. If you do have any questions, comments, or need any additional support, I also include my email here. It's ben@benparvey.com. It's there in the chat. If you have any questions, by all means, reach out. So Thank you so much for joining. I'll stay on for a couple minutes in case anyone has any questions or wanted any more feedback on anything in particular. Oh, and also tomorrow, I totally failed to say that, is our community happy hour. Um, we love doing this. We've been doing it since the beginning of the year. We're doing it for about a month now. We have our community happy hour Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern. Uh, we've gotten some feedback. I keep saying this, we'll probably do it the following week, but um, I think we're going to move this to like 12:30 coming up because people had asked if we could do a little bit later in the day or during lunch break so that more people can join. But absolutely love doing this. It's a great way to close the week strong, reflect on our wins for the week, talk about our goals for next week, talk about having some fun over the weekend and having some interaction and some feedback together. So it's just about an hour, community happy hour tomorrow. Hopefully you can join us there. Any other questions or anything anyone wants any feedback on? All right. Like I said, my email is there, ben@benparvey.com. If you do want to email, happy to answer questions for you. And there's the link. Chad put the link in for community happy hour for next week. So you can join, or sorry, for tomorrow. Sorry, I'm scattered. Uh, Happy hour tomorrow. The link is there in the chat. So if you want to join that, you can also go to our website and you'll find it there as well. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for sharing. You're welcome, Jim. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending the time for yourself. You will get the recording as well as the resources we mentioned. I'll also work on compiling some of those books that people ask for. Thank you so much for being here. Bless you, and hope to see you tomorrow for happy hour. CJ, thank you. Appreciate your sharing. And may all beings everywhere be peaceful, happy, and free. Have a wonderful evening, or afternoon, rather. Bye-bye.